G'day YouTube, Max right here, and today we're going to talk a little bit about a Bitcoin, back on the Bitcoin bandwagon. And so the current price is 40,700, but we're not going to do too much TA today. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look or talk about this video here from Max Keiser. So for those of you who don't know Max Keiser, he has made a number of really good and accurate Bitcoin predictions. He's an OG. He's been involved in Bitcoin since 2012, same as me, and he's made a lot of very good calls over the years. I'm a huge fan of his work. But in this particular interview, and I'll put a link in the description, so go ahead and click on that if you want to watch the full interview. It's well worth it. It's a great interview. But he makes actually not just one prediction, but two predictions, and actually there could be several others, but two jumped out at me. One was the Bitcoin price, his prediction, and that was $228,000, if my memory is correct. $228,000 for the peak of the Bitcoin price in 2021. Which is a totally reasonable thing. But then he goes on to make another prediction, which I think is completely incongruent with that prediction. And his prediction is that in the year 2021, there will be a major central bank collapse, and the central bank will actually disappear and never come back. When pushed for it, he says it's most likely to be the ECB. But in order for the prediction to be valid, it just needs to be any of the majors, be it the Fed or the Bank of Japan, Bank of England, etc. So, for those of you familiar with this channel, my prediction is actually that there will be a banking failure, meaning a major bank, maybe a Deutsche Bank or something like that, not a central bank. I predict that in 2021 there will be, I think it's more likely than not to happen, that a bank, not a central bank, but a bank, if pushed, my most likely scenario is Deutsche Bank, will collapse in 2021. And if that is the case, I put the Bitcoin price at $500,000 in 2021. If that does not happen, if there is no banking collapse in the first world, then my Bitcoin price prediction is around the $200,000 to $300,000 mark as well. How a central bank can collapse and the price of Bitcoin only be $228,000, that to me is absolutely inconceivable. There's no scenario I can go through where I think it's possible that the price of Bitcoin is just $228,000 when a central bank collapses. I mean, you think of what happens if a central bank collapses. Let's go on the supply side first. You're a Bitcoin holder. Who in their right mind owns Bitcoin and watches the ECB collapse and then says, I'm going to sell my Bitcoin for USD or yen or anything else? The supply will shrink to zero. No one is selling their Bitcoin under those conditions. And at the same time, let's look at the demand side. Who in their right mind is leaving their money in a bank in America or in Japan or in anywhere else? The flight from the banking system into precious metals and primarily Bitcoin will be astonishing. If something like a central bank collapse, there is no conceivable universe that I can see where Bitcoin is less than $1 million per coin. Because the whole world will want to be in Bitcoin and everyone in Bitcoin will not be selling. There's just no way. Maybe miners have to cash flow their operation, but the mining supply is already spoken for at least 2 times over, has been for the last 2 months, between Square and PayPal and Grayscale. You add a central bank collapse to that, and there is no Bitcoiners selling, except for the miners who maybe have to cash flow their operations. So I think the interview is fantastic. I highly encourage you watch it. There's a lot of good stuff. He saves the predictions until the very end. There's a bit of a Q&A, but the Q&A is interesting before that. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Is it even conceivable that a central bank collapses and the Bitcoin price is only $228,000? Do you think a central bank is going to collapse in 2021? Are you like me and think maybe not a central bank, but a bank, a major first world bank could collapse in 2021? And if either of those two scenarios happen, is it possible that we see just something beyond everyone's imagination of what the Bitcoin price could be in 2021? Because I don't see how either of those two scenarios. I think 228 is a conservative Bitcoin price that if we just do a normal market cycle, we'll get to 228 at the end of this year. Like, a little bit earlier than the end of this year, we'll get to about 228 if nothing significant happens. But I think there's a lot of significant things that are going to happen this year. I think the world is very, very different this year compared to last year, as I predicted. And actually, whatever you do, if you're new to this channel, please, 100%, please hit that subscribe button right now. In case you don't know, if you are new to this channel, I talk a lot about Bitcoin, but I make a lot of predictions, get a lot of arguments as for why I think that's going to happen. I'm going to have a major update video coming out soon. It will not be on YouTube, but I'll let you know about where to go and watch it on YouTube. I'll have to put it on BitChute because you can't talk about reality without talking about things that cannot be spoken about on the normal social media channels. And so whatever you do, I highly recommend go ahead. In the first link of this description is my newsletter. It's 30,000 people are already on there, really enjoying the stuff that I'm putting out. And I have a major video coming up because I'm going to reflect the predictions that I made last year. I made a lot of predictions last year. And in fact, you can help me out. From my counting, I've made 2 errors, 2 reasonable sized errors. Go ahead in the comments, let me know if you think what they were. There's 2 that I can find. I'm going to be reviewing those in the next video. But I have just made dozens upon dozens of Bitcoin predictions, of geopolitical predictions, and other things, and every single one has come to pass. And my phone is ringing off the hook this last week. People just telling me, you told us, you warned us for years and years and years, and every single thing you've ever told us has ever come true. And I'm super scared now. And I'm just like, okay, glad you're here. Sorry you're scared. Let's keep the energy positive. Let's keep ourselves in a state where we can take action and do things to help ourselves and our fellow citizens. But yeah, I'm glad you appreciate the situation now. And I'll be doing a major video update. Probably it'll be on BitChute, but I'll let you know about it on YouTube, and I'll let you know about it in the email description. And so I highly recommend you get involved in that, because the ability for you to get worthwhile information via any other social media is approaching zero at this point. The people who remain have to censor themselves, me included. No judgment. There's no point being a hero and making a video that your entire channel gets wiped out next week. So you best just make the really interesting content somewhere else. So I'll go and make the really interesting content somewhere else. And just so you guys know, as a content creator, things like BitChute and other sites, you can go to Parler. By the way, they've taken Parler out of I never use Twitter, and Parler never really my thing. I got a Parler channel. Feel free to click the link in the description, subscribe. I should start using it more. But I was never really into Twitter, and so I don't really use Parler a lot. But I do use BitChute, and I will use it a lot. And just as a content creator, I've been using that as backup, and I know that's where we're all going to have to end up. There's no doubt about it. But I know that I don't get a lot of discovery there. The discovery happens on YouTube, which means a lot of us are on YouTube looking for new content. We're browsing. And we really, it's very much approaching the time where you're going to get more bang for your buck, more interesting stuff to browse when you browse Parler or when you browse BitChute. That's where the interesting stuff is going to be, because the stuff on YouTube is just too sterilized. It's still a great place if you need to look up a video. It's like how to install, Ubuntu. It's a great place for that. How to, do a knitting needle class. It's great for that. But any kind of actual news, actual investing, and especially macro investing, which is what I do, you can't talk about macro investing when you can't talk about what's happening in the world. And so there's a lot of things going on, a lot of plays that I'm making, a lot of things that I'm taking advantage of, and it's simply, I just can't talk about it on YouTube because channels get shut down. So please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and make sure you hit the bell and hit all, because otherwise you won't hear about it. But then also click on the BitChute link, click on the Parler link, and subscribe to those channels there as well. Really important that you do that. So guys, if you like this video, do the like, do the subscribe, do all the fun things, and I will see you very soon. Take care.